Hi there, Emily Eldridge here with Emily International. Today I want to share with you what I've observed to be the top 3 secret struggles of people who've inherited wealth or who come from wealthy families. To the outside world, most people might think, oh, but they have money, so they must not have any problems. Well, this couldn't be further from the truth. Just like everyone else, whether you have money or not, we are all human beings. We all have struggles. We all have pain. And sometimes our pain is unique to our background or our life situation. So I want to share with you what I've observed to be the top secret struggles among people I know, some of whom are my friends, a lot of whom are my clients, people who've inherited their wealth or come from wealth. First of all, we live in an environment right now where a lot of people are really struggling and financially. And so among a lot of the people who have inherited their wealth, there's a huge amount of guilt and shame. Guilt at having received so much money and so many blessings and so many opportunities without even having earned it themselves, just by nature of being born into their families or in their environments. And a lot of shame around that. Shame, ashamed to share that they have this wealth, ashamed to admit that they have this wealth because they're afraid of how other people will judge them for having that. And in conjunction with that, there's a lot of unworthiness, a feeling of not deserving. You know, the idea of, but I didn't do anything to earn this. So how come I received this and this other person, this kid on the street who's crying and is poor and doesn't have enough food to eat, what makes me so special? Why did I receive this and they didn't? So there's a huge amount of guilt and shame and unworthiness in people who've inherited their wealth and who come from wealthy families. And this includes people who even on the outside may seem to flaunt their wealth. I've found that really under the surface, there's a huge amount of guilt and shame. And also the idea that who am I without my wealth? That they really aren't worth anything if they don't have that wealth. So that's the first one. The second one is the feeling of not enoughness. Now, you may recall from my top 3 secret struggles of leaders that was one of them. Well, consider that people who are born into wealthy families, they kind of by nature are assuming a mantle of leadership. And like leaders of CEOs and entrepreneurs and executives, a lot of people who come from wealth struggle with a feeling of not enoughness. And it comes from the idea usually of to whom much is given, much is expected. So there's this self-expectation, or sometimes there's expectation from their families that, well, you need to achieve these measures of success. Well, you need to do this in the family business, or you need to accomplish these things in your life. Or you know what, we've given you so much, why aren't you doing enough with it? So there's this anxiety that no matter what they do, it's never enough. Knowing that they've been given so much and knowing that they have so many opportunities. And so a lot of times I see that people from these backgrounds are very scattered and they lack direction and focus. They don't know, either they don't know what their purpose is, or they know what their purpose is, but they really don't know how to implement it in the world. So they end up very scattered. The third most common struggle I've seen in people who come from wealth is the difficulty trusting other people. They really have a hard time trusting because the reality is when you come from wealth, and especially if you come from a family that's a very well-known family, and I know I have friends and clients who are of the 1%, what you would call the 1%. And so what happens is then they meet people and people come into their sphere, and even though their intentions are really good, other people's intentions might not be so good. And they may end up seeing that person as a dollar sign and seeing them for their money and their connections and their reflected glory and not really valuing them for who they are. So a lot of the people I know who come from wealthy backgrounds have been burned, they've been taken advantage of, they've been deeply hurt. Even though their intentions have been very good going into situations, they've been taken for granted and taken advantage of. And so there's a lot of difficulty trusting for fear of getting hurt again, for fear of being betrayed again. So those are the top 3 secret struggles I've seen among people who've inherited their wealth. And I share these because I think it's really important for example, if you were one of these people, for you to know that you're not alone. if you're struggling with these issues. And also to know that there's help, that this is the work that I do, is I permanently release people with struggles like these, and especially people in leadership positions like you. And also for other people who may not be of this background, to understand that, you know what, even the people that we see who on the outside seem like they have it all together and they have it all and everything is great, that no, they have their own unique struggles. Everyone has their own struggles, whether they admit to them or not. So with that said, I really hope this has been helpful. And yeah, until next time, this is Emily Eldridge with Emily International. Thanks so much.